It's episode 64 of the Daily Dollar Cost Average. And we're going to, do the same routine. So $333 from DAI, the stable coin, over to Bitcoin. Okay, there you have it. It's just about to get complete. There you go. So we'll go check out the portfolio. I think I have just over 40% of a Bitcoin now. Yeah, there it is there. So 40.0412 of a Bitcoin. So that's what I have. And anyways, so today I'm just going to look at, because
we have gold.
Oh, sorry. We have, we're constantly looking at Bitcoin, which, the show is all about, and, all the other cryptos. So I'm just going to look at right now this one here. I'm just going to bring it down so you can see the title. It's Warren Buffett dumps gold and banks, silver warning. So this episode, I'm just going to talk about, again, we always talked about cryptos, but, sometimes you might have the temptation, well, I'm going to go over to gold or something, or I'm going to go into the stock market, like, invest in banks, or I'm going to do whatever the case may be, because it's just one of those things, the grass is always greener on the other side, sort of a cliche sort of a thing. So this time I'm just going to, just compare the entire cryptocurrency market with other markets, the precious metals markets, the equities market, so on and so forth. Just as, again, to just to illustrate that they have their challenges as well. It's not all, the thing is though, when you see something else just take off and you hear the good things about it, you think, oh man, I should have been in that, because look at it, it's doing amazing. When you're dealing with something day to day, all the little nuances and trials and tribulations that are attached to it. And, you think everything else is idealistic. So we're just going to listen to what this guy's name is, Jay Bravo. I don't know if that means Johnny Bravo, but what he has to say about, gold and the banks and silver and so on and so forth. Just to hear a different perspective on a different market, a different asset class. Again, just to illustrate that everything is not as easy and as risk-free or whatever that you may think it is when you're involved in something else. So we'll just run the clip and hear what he has to say.
Silver, banks, Bitcoin, and Buffett only took me 2 takes. And no shade being thrown on Buffett. And that guy's a goat. So, and he makes a whole lot more money than you and me. I mean, unless Elon is currently watching this right now. I mean, he's top? He has more income than everyone. Unless Elon's watching right now, Bezos or Gates, I think I'm safe to say he has more money than all of us combined. And just so I can beat you down to the comment section before you head down there and be like, Bravo, you don't even know. Those were actually option contracts that he never, blah, blah, blah. I'm just giving you like a big picture of his portfolio. I know a lot of things changes before we even know it. We're like, oh, so when did he sell that? But let me just kind of go back in time a little bit. This article, August 2020. That's when he went in on gold. And we were all like, whoa, I thought he hated gold. And also a little disclaimer, I love gold. I love gold. I love silver. I love Bitcoin. I love stocks. I love people. And I love that we're going to talk about all of those. Hey, you guys have been hitting me up too. Silver, you're like, do a video on silver. Do it. This is your video on silver. But hold on. We got to talk about Buffett and gold right now and banks. Banks, Buffett, and the other B, Bitcoin. All right. So here we go. Here, I'll graph this for you. So remember that article right here? When did he go in on August? August. Okay. June, July, August. Here, let me grab my little tool here. 1 second. He enters this position. Remember June, July, August. Right about there. Okay. Sounds like us, right? You're like, yeah, gold to the moon. And then he exits. We don't really know like the exact, right, for Berkshire Hathaway, but let's just say he exits anytime, in this zone. Also, in regards to this video, I want you to know trading is actually difficult. And so no shade, right? We all make mistakes. Yeah, even if you've been trading for 90 years, I guess we still all make mistakes. Now, looking at this just little crazy. I would say, maybe a FOMO top here. Maybe, quite possibly. Looking at the RSI, yeah, maybe not the places, that's all-time high. But maybe, again, his Berkshire may have been able to get in right there. And then that's when, we had the pump, right? That was a one-day candle. One-day candle. That was a thickety thick. And do you remember last year when I said I'm getting out of gold? And you're like, no, we have inflation. Gold is an inflation hedge. The Fed goes burr, creates a bunch of reserves. It doesn't end up in the economy, but that's okay. Whatever. It's what I do with all stocks. See this green, that green bar right there? I think it was about August that I was like, hey guys, we dropped below the 50. Warning, Will Robinson, right? Kept banging our heads on the, you couldn't get above it. Well, a little bit, dropped below it. And then I'm like, hey, I started drawing trend lines. Do you guys see something that maybe everyone else sees? And then the day that it crossed, it was this one right here. It underneath the 200. But we have hope, and I'm going to show you something on silver. We stay above the on the 200. That is great. We form probably right in here, this area. 2021, a few months ago, maybe the beginning. I'm like, guys, we're forming a death cross here. This is your last warning. It is time to exit out of gold. You're like, no, it's forever. It's God's money. I'm like, great. God will be here now. He'll be there then. You may want to pick up his money a little cheaper. And maybe he did like the FOMO. Like, what did he say? Bitcoin is rat poison. Right? Okay. All right. I'll take that. Or when people are like, yeah, and then all of a sudden it just keeps getting 100,000, it's 200,000, 300,000. You're like, that's it, FOMO in, and then everyone just FOMO's in, and then it crashes. So maybe Warren had a little FOMO, right? Maybe that's in these areas. Now I know, man, he could just once people find out, like, hey, Warren, we found out that Berkshire, bought something. Everyone's like, FOMO, get in, right? We're going to look at a couple other things. And this kid seems to really like Apple. I don't see Android in there, but Warren Buffett's 2021 portfolio, Berkshire Hathaway stocks, 2021, and number 1, Chevron. Actually, that'll bore you if I go list by list, but here is the activity currently holding. See the green holding, red selling, sold. A lot of banks, guys. He's been getting out. Well, now he's out of gold. He's out of banks. Looks like he reduced his position on Apple. So a little bit. And also what's kind of crazy in my head is fourth quarter of 2020, maybe the beginning of 2021, but out of the bank stocks. So let's take a look. And I'm thinking Warren must feel like, when you go to the grocery store and you're like, okay, which lane, right? You know what I'm talking about? Which lane is going to move the fastest? And so you jump into one lane and it's not moving at all. You're like, and they're like, can I get a price check on this, please? And then you jump to the other lane and then that lane starts moving. Same thing with the freeway. I just cannot pick a lane. But look at JP Morgan. If you were to go, oh, let's get in somewhere in right here, right? Death cross goes into the toilet. And then, well, you know what, after that, you suffered, you're like, okay, well, when did they exit? Towards the end of 2020? That would be right here. That would be the golden cross. I mean, you could have timed this more worsely. And also, full disclosure, I trade technicals. Fundamentals, I think it just has not worked since 2008. So I had to change my tune. Well, let's take a look at this one. And I have traded this one. I do not know if I currently hold it because I swing trade. I get in and I get out. I don't know which ones I'm currently holding. I don't think I'm holding Snowflake right now. Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway discloses Snowflake stake, confirming a rapid $800 million gain. Well, until it's not, right? And wow, what a pump, right? Pump and dump. Once people find out, wait, he owns it, whoop, sell the rumor, buy the news. And I'm not even going to use TradingView for this one. We're just going to head over to Motley Fool. We got an interactive chart. So see the gray? Does it look familiar to you? Well, it should. It should. That would be the S&P 500. That is, I'm an investor in the S&P 500. Why? Because I have not been able to exit my position on that forever. And let me show you Snowflake. right above it is now a hat. I'm assuming this is when people found out that actually, let me get rid of myself. This is where probably people found out that Warren, I am in a wrong arrow. That they're like, wait, Warren did what? Whoop, and in the toilet. And I guess at the end of the day, if you don't want knowledge on I guess you just buy and hold. That's what I did. When I didn't know what I was doing back in the day, I just thought, I'll just buy and hold S&P 500, SPY. That would be the ticker symbol. And honestly, as a chartist, whatever, technical TA guy, I'm not really good with, hey, it's going to go this way because of that. I don't know. I look at charts and I trade based on charts. Here's silver, which if you were to see that, what is that? What do you make of that? I don't know. It is very confusing. Let's go to futures. That's what you would do. It's a contract. We're going to do a silver contract, but we just buy the real stuff, Bravo. What are we doing with this? Well, let's do a full featured chart on that. Follow through. Let's get this. Look at this. Coming back over here, you're like, yes, tell me more, because I hold stacks. We had a golden cross back here. I don't know what. For some reason, I just left the golden cross and the death cross indicator up. What indicators do I have? I just have that one, right? I have the 50 and I have the 200. What I would like to do is zoom in, and I'm going to do a little price prediction. After this is bull. This is good. It's like a bull, right? Bull. Bear, right? That's what my daughter does. That's how she taught me what a bull market is and what a bear market is. And she sold an NFT on it for like, I don't know, $1,000 or I don't know what. Crazy, right? Robin Hood kid. So looking at this, we had, I was zooming in and then I left it. See this right here? Let me move this over for you silver guys. This is currently traded on the daily. And you know how I'll say, now I need to correct myself slightly. And I'm totally down with exiting a position after the 200 and then getting back in it. So you see, you get back in. You don't, people always get confused. They're like, oh, you said the market's going to go. Well, I hope it goes down, right? And then I hope it reverses. Yes. And then I buy. This, we had a great follow through. We had a full candle, went down below the line. It closed one full candle, almost above the 200, another close above, another close above. This is very bullish in my case. And along with, you're finding support here in silver on the 200. Also, if you would like more knowledge on this, link in the description for $700 off my course. It is going to 400 next week. Pinky promise. I know you're like, yeah, right. No, me not kidding. $400 rather than $297. Just saying. I'm going to turn on one thing to see like when should we put in a buy? I see strength on silver. Now, if you really want to be a little bit more balanced, see, indicators give you balance. So we will turn on this one and it will say buy. Okay. But it'll also say sell. But I'm going to say, I think the smooth and high Kanashi validates your hold. It's up to you. I like what I am seeing on silver. But like always, I have to be the Debbie Downer. You guys see that? That's not good for the RSI. I'm just saying, see, and your trades, maybe, since you just paper trade, because it's not financial advice, you'll lose all of your money. You may have wanted to exit. This is where you enter, right? We got the cross on the MACD. It goes up, starts cooling off. Maybe I'll exit 50% of my position. Maybe. Or maybe you just want to follow people. You're like, well, Kathy Woods is buying this Tesla, so I guess I will. I think he's at about 5%. Yeah, not keeping up with the S&P 500. Kathy's up at about 159%. But that is not fair. Because of darn Bitcoin. I know my portfolios are just like, people are like, oh, I beat the S&P 500. So what, do you have like a 300% gain this year because of crypto? Just do me a favor. Before you enter a trade or before you do anything, ask yourself why. Why are you doing this? Because now if you do it based on your gut or your emotions, yeah, you'll probably be like the 90-something% that completely fail at trades. And you're like, that's it. I lost a lot of money. I'm never going to do that again, because you're like, well, my gut's saying, I should get it now, right? And so you get in because it's going up. Tesla's going up. I'm going to get in. This is great. Tesla's going down. I should exit my position. But wait, Bitcoin's going up. Let's get in.
Okay, so again, he's getting in, he's going into a bit of a rant here, but he's just saying that, again, he's looking at it from a very technical analyst point of view, and he's just saying that you should not base your decisions on your gut or whatever, just base it on, technical indicators and so on and so forth. He didn't really get into kind of what I thought he was going to be getting into, but yeah, he's just basically saying day trade it. Silver sometimes a good investment, sometimes it's not, depending on what the charts are saying, which is true, whatever. But yeah, you can just see from from what he was saying about Buffett. Like, everyone talks about this guy as if he's he's the second coming, whatever. But he's only got 5.89%, and you can't see behind his shoulder. But she's like over 150%, mostly because of Bitcoin. But again, like Warren Buffett, he's and again, it's hard to argue with a track record because he's been, so successful and consistent for so long. But just look at what he's buying here: Moody's, Apple, Bank of America, Coca-Cola. It's the same stuff. He's always like, I don't understand why he has GM. That company sucks. I wouldn't touch GM. I don't know. Oil companies, I don't know enough about them, but I would not be in. He's in U.S. Bank and Bank of America. He's always been in Coca-Cola since day one. That's kind of his trademark, like, stock that he's held. But I don't think this guy, in my opinion, is what the future of investing is. Again, he was successful during his time, but you have to realize too, because when you get to that. When you get to the size he is, and you could argue, well, he got that big because he's so good or whatever. But what you have to take into consideration is when you get that big, just by virtue of you buying something, he's going to push up the stock price. So if say, let's just say Coca-Cola should be $5 a share. Well, if he sinks $30 billion into it, it's going to go up. It's just as simple as that, just by virtue of he himself buying it. And he could turn around and see, the stock went from $5 to $50. Yeah, it was because of you buying it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, and again, I'm not trying to say he's scamming or anything, but I'm saying it's a self-fulfilling prophecy when you have this, guru giant investor telling you to buy something, and he can show you a chart that, yes, it went up, but he doesn't tell you it's because of him buying it, and then it's one of those like compounding things, because he bought it and he has such a reputation. People are like, oh my God, Warren Buffett's buying it, and they all buy it, and that pushes it up even further. You know what I mean? So, like, you got to take, like, I personally think Warren Buffett is more of a marketing thing. Like, he's a brand. Berkshire Hathaway is a brand. What I always found interesting about Berkshire is like his philosophies of like, don't buy stock unless it pays a dividend. Well, Berkshire doesn't pay a dividend, so nobody should be. If you go by his philosophy, you shouldn't be buying Berkshire Hathaway because it doesn't pay a dividend. He keeps the dividends. But his philosophy is, well, I reinvest it. Well, that's what other companies do. If a company doesn't pay dividends to their investors, they usually keep it to expand the company. But anyways, I just think his ideas and just his philosophy of investing is archaic, and he doesn't like Bitcoin. Maybe he's buying it behind the scenes. He doesn't say anything. I have no idea about that. But I do think that the stock market is a thing. Well, I can't say it's a thing of the past, but I do think it's going to be attenuating in power over the years, because I think what's going to happen is companies will just use crypto. Like they won't even go on in an exchange, like as far as like an equities exchange. Like you'll probably buy like a cryptocurrency of a particular stock. Like it'll be like a stock, but like a company will have its own crypto or something like that. Because like the stock market, I just think it's been corrupt for a long time now, especially during that 2008 fiasco with the mortgage-backed securities. Like we saw a lot of corruption, and like General Motors, for example, they declare bankruptcy, but they're still in business. The equity holders get nothing. The bond holders become the equity holders, and the GM executives get bonuses. Like that has to stop. This shell game of moving money around, scam. Like again, I think the stock market's been exposed for being nothing but a fraud that's orchestrated by the governments and big guys like Warren Buffett that they collude, and it's just people got wise to it. And I think with crypto, and this is the thing, like they're always saying, oh, it's crypto's it's for illegal purposes and all this. The only illegal stuff is going on is what's going on in Wall Street. That's all shrouded in mystery. Cryptos, everything's exposed, man. Like, okay, maybe not the parties are doing it, but like you can see the transactions moving. If you could see the transactions moving for what was that, Arthur Anderson? If you could have watched that, how the money was moving, you would have detected that was a fraud back in, what was that, back in the early 2000s, back in the 90s or whatever it was, late 90s, early 2000s. When Arthur Anderson crashed, right? You could have exposed that for being the fraud that it was if you're using cryptos. But, or like the whole mortgage-backed security thing. Like they're packaging all these terrible loans and selling it off to investors, telling them that it was good. If you're using cryptos, you could have detected that right away. So I think what's happening with Wall Street is that these guys know that the light is being shone upon them. So they have to. The only recourse they have is to try to rip apart, cryptos, because they know they cannot survive in that environment, because every cash flow would be known. People know where the money's going with cryptos, and that's what these guys hide behind. They cut their deals in boardrooms where no one else can hear what's going on. It's not going to happen anymore, and they're done. And I think they know it. And so what do they try to do? Huge marketing campaign against cryptos, that it's all for, terrorist acts and so on and so forth. It's for drug dealers and whatever. But they're the ones that are corrupt. And I think they're all going down. And you got to remember, too, cryptos are just in their infancy right now. Like they're not as big as I think they're going to be. And again, if you think gold and silver we're going to be the safe havens, I don't think it is. I really don't. That would have been the logical point of view. And maybe Buffett was trying to say, okay, because he was never a gold guy. And maybe he was trying to say, the best alternative to cryptos, because maybe he had a choice. You can either go the Bitcoin route or you can go the gold route. And he thought because he had such a marketing powerhouse thing about him, like people do what he says. If Warren Buffett says he's going into gold, everyone's going to follow suit and we'll kill this Bitcoin. Guess what happened? He went into gold and it went down. His scam didn't work. I'm not a fan of this guy. I think he's a used car salesman, carnival sideshow phony, this guy. But people worship him, and I think he's a scam. I think you saw that when 9/11 happened, because he insured, I don't know about all the entire Twin Towers, but he was insuring at least a few businesses or something in there. And he said, oh, he shouldn't have to pay because the government should pay because it was a terrorist act. So he liked collecting the premiums from his insurance companies. But as soon as something happens, he's like, oh, I don't want to pay out. Well, that's the way that the insurance company works, is that you collect premiums, and if something happens, you got to make a payout. He went to Washington fighting tooth and nail that he didn't have to pay out. And, I think eventually he had to, but it just shows the kind of guy he is. Like, it's all him. Like, it's all about me. And he's so smart when things are going his way. But as soon as the business does what it's supposed to do a payout, he thinks he's being cheated. It's just the kind of guy he is. But I think Buffett's style is done. Like, look at this. He's buying banks and General Motors. Like, General Motors, that is one of the worst, most inefficiently run companies of all time. Like, it's just, again, it's basically corporate welfare. They've been living off government subsidies. Like, General Motors, a lot of people don't realize this. This was supposed to go bankrupt back when Bill Clinton was president. And they said he was in the Oval Office, Bill Clinton, and they said, we got to, it's going to declare bankruptcy. He said, no, give him government money because I don't want to be the president in office when General Motors goes out of business. He goes, I just, because it's like American iconic brand, right? And he goes, I don't want to be responsible for that. So they let it go, right? But this thing is such a poorly run company. It's incredibly inefficient. They have terrible technology. It's just, this company should not even exist. It's a terribly run, inefficient, corporate welfare bum of a company. And this idiot is telling people to buy it. It's either he knows he's got the name brand recognition, and because he's buying it, idiots will buy it, I guess. I don't know what his strategy is. But that, I can tell you right now, that company sucks. That's a terribly run company. Again, Bank of America and U.S. Bank. Are you kidding me? You're telling people to buy these now, when mortgage rates are at historic lows, and real estate prices are at historic highs, and inflation is kicking in like there's no tomorrow. So if interest rates go up, these are probably the two worst companies to possibly be in. And he's telling people to buy that? It's just, I don't know. This guy here, I know people love this guy. He's like this, they call him the Sage of Omaha or Oracle of Omaha, whatever. I think he's a con artist, just to be 100% honest. But anyways, that's my rant for today. Again, I know a lot of people love him and they're going to hate me for saying that. And they're going to say, well, if you're so smart, why aren't you a billionaire, and yada, yada, yada. It was a different time. He wrote a lot of bull markets, whatever. It's like saying who's on top with crypto. Like, I would say there's got to be a few guys who became billionaires from cryptos. Does that mean they know everything? Sometimes you get lucky. Like, if you would have bought Bitcoin in, like, say 2012 for like $10, say you had 10,000 of them, you're a billionaire now, man. Does that mean you're Albert Einstein? No, you got lucky. It happens. It happens. I'm not saying the guy's an idiot for doing it, but I'm saying, like, sometimes, you get flukishly lucky and yada, yada, yada. I'm sure he's better than just lucky. Like, this guy, he had a whole system, but he's got a lot of people working for him too. But I'm just saying, I think generally speaking, I do not listen to a word this guy says, because I think everything he says has an angle on it. And I just don't trust him. But anyways, that's it for today. And I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.